All right. All right. We're locked and loaded, y'all. What's going on? It's Jay Myrax of ultrawest.com. So, thank you for joining me once again. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to check out the ultrawest.com website. I'm giving away a free video course for music producers. It's a 6-part video course called Sound Mind Sessions, where I'm teaching you a lot about music production as well as music industry topics that will help you to succeed. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you go check out that free 6-part video course right now. You're probably watching a replay anyhow, so you might as well go ahead and check that out after we finish. But today we're going to be talking about selling beats online. And I want to talk about how to sell beats online and some of the things that people may not be thinking about as far as selling beats online as a music producer. I'm gonna go check the website out real quick. I'm gonna check out the YouTube stream to make sure everything's cool on the YouTube. But give me a second here. We're getting everything set up, ready to roll. Thank you for joining. What's going on, everybody? Where's everybody from, by the way? I'm live on IG as well as YouTube, so those of y'all on IG, let me know, where's everybody from right now? What up, fam? What's going on, Marv? Thanks for joining in, man. Thanks again for the shout out on your latest video, man. That video was dope about how to mix. If you haven't checked that out, go check out Marv's video tutorial on how to make a clean mix on Beatmaker 2 software. That's the software that I use definitely in my music production as well. So he did a good video tutorial on that, so check that out. But yeah, tonight we're talking about, tonight we're talking about selling beats. Somebody said New Orleans, got another person from Los Angeles, West Side, yep. Okay, SOCES, supporting F major. That's right, SOCES. That's the high school I'm with too. So somebody from high school, that's what's up. Yes, sir. Virginia. Okay. That's what's up. Yeah, man. I just want to thank y'all for joining. Let me see here. We got this chat going here. Okay, everything looks cool. Yeah, man. One of the biggest things that always comes up when I do consultations with music producers is the topic of selling beats. So selling beats online always comes up. There's always a question of, first of all, should I sell beats online? And my answer to that question is normally, it depends on what you're trying to do with your music production, ultimately. I don't have a problem with selling beats online. I think it's smart to sell beats online because there's plenty of opportunity out there. It allows you to create a business for yourself as a music producer if you're selling beats online. If you have your website and a channel where people can go to get music from you directly, it's smart. But I think there's some other aspects of this whole beat selling economy that we have to consider as music producers, because there's some risk and potential to the culture when we sell music online without any foresight into what we're doing. And to explain that a bit further, one of the things I find with a lot of music producers that want to sell beats online is that a lot of times it's because they're not necessarily wanting to work with artists. And I think that in itself is a problem. You shouldn't be selling beats online to music makers if you don't care about the music that they create with your beats ultimately. And oftentimes what happens is you get people that sell beats online, and because the internet is free and open to everybody for the most part, anybody can buy tracks from you. But sometimes you don't necessarily care about the artist because you don't like the artist, or you don't think the artist is an artist of the quality that you would want to work with personally. So then it becomes a transactional thing. And, you know, I often have to tell producers, like, if you really are interested in making great music, memorable songs, songs that people love and enjoy in their lives, then you may want to consider selling beats differently than the average music producer does online. If you want to actually create songs that are valuable, that people enjoy, you need to look at the idea of working with the artist to actually create something special. You have to, as a producer, it's your job to work with the artist to create that magic that people remember. So if you're just selling beats online and it's transactional, and you sell a beat to them and, you know, you don't like the song they did, you don't care about it, you know, what happens to the artist? You know, the artist kind of gets duped because they buy the beat. And yes, you're selling them the idea of this beat is something that's going to be used to make them hot or give them an opportunity as an artist. But then it's like, do you support the artist after that? Do you go and promote the artist after that? After they buy the track from you, are you gonna repost their music and help them to market, or are you gonna go out on tour with them, or is it just a transaction? And that's the issue, and that's why I think that music producers oftentimes online need to start thinking a little bit more intelligently about the impact of selling their beats, so that they don't make the field or the industry so watered down with all these artists that have beats and have songs out that nobody cares about ultimately. Because if you don't, as the music producer, if you don't care about it, I mean, it's gonna be hard for the artist to actually get some traction with it if you yourself don't care about it. And I think that that's a big consideration to make when we talk about selling beats. Now, obviously, there's producers out there that are making their living off of selling beats online. And I don't knock anybody for selling beats online. I've sold beats online. Like, I started off selling beats online, but more so I focused on working with artists directly. So I had artists that I worked with directly on top of selling beats to artists online. See, you know, when it becomes more about just a transaction, you don't get that ability to really lift the song up to its fullest potential to work for the artist. And I think that's a fraudulent way of dealing with the artist, because if you're really selling them a service that provides value, what's the real value in a beat or a song for artists? We know that the music industry has changed quite substantially. So what's happening right now is that it's becoming harder for artists to actually make a return on investment for a beat, because it's hard for them to sell music. I mean, yes, you can make an argument that digital sales are at their all-time highest for music. But the problem with that argument is that digital sales also include streaming. And when we talk about streaming, the profits that are available for artists from streaming revenue is very minuscule. So it's very difficult for an artist to make a return on the investment of a beat. And I think a lot of producers are starting to have this issue where they find that artists don't want to buy beats, because it's like, well, why would they buy a beat if they can't make return on investment? Is that smart? You know, we got to stop looking at artists as if they're dumb people that don't care about music or don't care about you as a producer. You need to actually have something that allows them to get a return on investment at the end of the day. And if you're not offering something that really gives them some value where they can get a return on their, even if it's $25 for a license, if they can't get a return on investment for that, that's not a good deal for them. I'm sorry. Yes, your music may be hot and you may have put a lot of time into it, but that doesn't make it valuable to an artist. And we have to be clear about that. So the thing is here. Now, if you want to work with an artist, think about what value you can add to an artist beyond just your music, because the music is not enough. If the idea is that you want them to have access to making a living off of their music somehow, then you also need to think about that as a music producer. How can an artist make a living off their music? And maybe give them some ideas and give them some feedback besides just, hey, you need this beat in order to make it. Because the beat alone is worthless if they can't make a return on investment. And you think about it, most musicians online don't really have a strong or solid audience that they can market to. They're all trying to come up. We're all trying to come up, online. It's a big space. There's millions of people out here. So, of course, you're trying to fight for the attention of people. But at the same time, as a producer, if you're saying that your value proposition is just the time that you spent on the product that they're going to rap over or sing over, that's not really being creative, and that's not really being all-inclusive in terms of your proposition. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity right now for music producers to think outside the box. Even if you're working with a musician online or artist online, there's a lot of potential for you now to expand your services beyond just selling the beat. The beat is one part of it, but maybe you can start thinking about ways of expanding and helping the artist and allowing the artist to get value outside of the beat. For example, artists need help with also just the whole creation or the structure of the song. It's not just they need the beat, but you need to be able to give them advice on how to structure the song as well. And that's part of production more so. That's not part of just beat sales. So I think if you're going to sell beats online, you may want to extend or offer upgrades on your service. So yes, you can buy a beat, but you should also be able to give them the opportunity to buy, exclusive video consultation, for example. Maybe you can, do Skype sessions with them and tell them, hey, let me Skype with you while you record, or let me, FaceTime while you record so I can give you some feedback while you're recording. Maybe we can, at least build the song up together, as opposed to me just letting you have at it with the beat. And then maybe you can send the beat back, and you can have all kinds of upgrades to how you present selling beats. But it shouldn't just be that you're just selling the beat, because at the end of the day, if it's just that type of transaction, that's not going to be long-term beneficial to you nor the artist. And hold on one second. Let me get some of this water here. Got to stay hydrated. But yeah. So, it's about value proposition at the end of the day. And I think, a lot of us online, you can okay, I'm paused on Instagram. Sorry about that. But a lot of the artists, okay, we're back now. A lot of the producers I'm seeing have this animosity towards artists, and you get this sentiment where you see all these producers posting content that's about like, these beats ain't free, or pay me for my beats and all this stuff. And I get it. You should get paid for your stuff, but you got to think about the whole service. And if you think about the whole service and all the value that you can add, your whole content strategy will change. And what I'm recommending is that music producers start really caring about artists. That's the most important part. If you start to care about artists, then you'll bring a lot more traffic to whatever you're doing as a music producer. And I think having a content strategy that shows that you care about artists will actually lead you to becoming more valuable as a resource to artists, as opposed to you just saying, hey, you got to pay for this and I got beats. Because, oftentimes producers can be very, self-promotional. Like, hey, new beats up all the time. And these beats ain't free, but, I got beats. Go check them out. And that's cool. But, like, think about other value you can add to artists. And I think that way artists will get a lot further along, and you'll get a lot further along. Your brand will go up, just because even though you're not working with artists in the traditional way where they're in the studio with you, if you find a content strategy that allows you to add value as a producer and express your expertise as a music producer, then what happens is they still respect you as a producer, even if you're a online producer for them. So those are some things you got to consider. Is like, how can you add value and show your expertise as a music producer outside just the beats? Like, of course, everybody got beats. Like, young kids got beats now, like crazy. Like 12, 10-year-old kids got beats now. So the value proposition is not just the beats. So think about that and start caring about artists, and you'll see that a lot more artists gravitate to you because they actually see that you care about the music and you care about helping them grow as artists. So now that leads me to another point or another topic. A lot of producers, like, after we talk about this whole selling beats online, the other topic that comes up a lot is this whole idea of getting their music on television, because a lot of beat makers and producers see that as another opportunity or another potential revenue stream. And it's true. I started doing television music maybe about 10 years ago, and I've had my music on quite a few shows over the years, and some movies and whatnot, and it's really cool when you can see and hear your music on television. So of course, I think that's another potential way that musician or music producers can get their music out, sell music, make money, and do the thing that they love. So the question is, how do you get your music on television? And I talk about that a bit in Sound Mind Sessions. So if you haven't already checked out Sound Mind Sessions, make sure you do that, because I have a free 6-part video course that talks about that topic specifically, how to get those types of clients. So there's a link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're watching this on IG right now, once this is over, go to the link in my bio and you can check out Sound Mind Sessions. But to really expand upon this whole music for television opportunity, one of the things that's important to understand about music for television is that when you're dealing with television, like any type of television shows or advertising, like commercials and whatnot, or even movies, a lot of times they're looking for very specific types of content. So one thing I will say for sure is, if you want to get your music on television, you have to be okay with taking instructions and following instructions very well. If you're not into like getting a lot of instructions about how your music needs to be or what type of music you need to make, music for television is not really a path for you. I'll be honest with you, because a lot of that is about getting a specific reference or a specific type of content that's necessary. Like, you might talk to an individual or a library or something else that needs some type of content, and they'll tell you, I need this type of track, and this is your turnaround time, and you have to produce that. It's not like you just do whatever you want as an artist and then it's all good and you get paid for it. Music on television does not work like that at all. Secondly, when we're talking about television, your music has to be 100% original. You can't be a sample-based producer getting music on television, because it creates too much of an expense for the media company that wants to use the music. So if you're primarily using samples, it's not going to work out that well for you. So you have to have great music. You have to have music that sounds professional. You have to be able to take orders and understand how to do what's exactly asked of you as a music producer. And you have to have original music. It has to be 100% original. Now, there is a catch to the whole original thing. So one of the things that does work on television very well are type beats. And if you're not familiar as a music producer with the concept of a type beat is essentially a beat that is structured or catered or developed in the fashion of a existing popular artist that is well known. And you make a beat that kind of would fit the style of that artist. Sometimes that comes in the form of just, conceptually it could fit with the artist, but a lot of the times it means that you're taking specific cliches that the artist has used in their music and incorporating that into your music in a way that, pretty much communicates that it would be for that artist, or that artist has done something like that. So type beats. Type beats are very useful for television, commercials, and film. That's one of the major strategies that you can use as a music producer if you want to go in that direction. If you're somebody that's into type beats and you like to make a lot of type beats, I think that the music for television path is such a great path for you, because most of the music that's on television is on there because, number one, the media companies need original music that they can afford to license for their shows. And if you're dealing with a major artist, a lot of times the media company, the show or whatever, can't afford the licensing fee for the major artists. So what happens is they'll go to a music library or something like that and get music that fits the style or the specific lane of the show that they're working on, and then they'll curate music. Like there'll be a person there in the that's a part of the show that actually curates music and places the music within the show so that it fits. So they'll take from a library that has a lot of great sounding music that they can use for a cheaper price. So in that sense, type beats are great because it immediately captures the ears of the curator for the content for the show. And they'll hear it and say, oh, this sounds like, for example, it may sound like a Drake beat or a 21 Savage beat or something like that. And they'll say, oh, that's it right there, and I need that for this show. And they'll grab a type beat. Most of the time, they'll grab a type beat over something that's super creative, left field, or anything like that. There are some networks that mess with this whole like left field thing, but really it's really only one that I know of, and it's Adult Swim. Adult Swim will take a lot of left field content. So if you're like really left field out the box, yeah, you'll probably do okay on Adult Swim, but that's pretty much it. You won't be able to get on all the other networks because they're looking for very specific stuff a lot of the time. So with getting your music on television, you've got to be someone that understands that that is just a type of task. It's not, you can't be too emotionally attached to it, because another part of having success on television is making sure that you have high quantities of music. So you can't get too emotionally attached to this whole like, I love this beat because I did this and that and do it. No, it's like you make a type beat, you did it specifically for whatever the network was looking for, and then you move to the next, and then you got to have hundreds of beats in order to have enough of a spread on television to get the income that you would want to be able to get as a music producer. So you can't be too emotional about your music. So if you're doing something very artistic, I would say it's not for television most of the time, unless it becomes some major pop hit that everybody knows. Then yes, you might be able to get some licensing from that. But in general, no, it's not. That's not the game. The game is about making stuff that is kind of like almost knockoffs of the industry, so that you can catch the ear of not only the content curator for the show, but also for the audience of that show, because if they can identify with it because it sounds like a 21 Savage beat or a Drake beat, it makes the show or the watching experience that much greater for the audience. So that's a little bit of the game of music for television, because that gets asked of me a lot, like how can I get my music on television? Now, like I said, go to SoundMind Sessions and I'll talk about other strategies, how to network with the right people, what people you need to know. Go to ultrawest.com and download or get access to it, because it's a 6-part course. So basically, go sign up and you can go get more information about the networking aspect of that. But, building on this whole topic of music for television, I'll tell you another super untapped avenue for music producers that are interested in this whole music for television lane is actually the community of video content producers. Not a lot of people don't talk about this, but YouTube is the new TV. Let's be real. Like, we talked about the future of technology and how it's being driven towards more content consumption and whatnot, and these mobile devices. A big part of it is this whole YouTube thing. YouTube has revolutionized the way that people are consuming content. So, from my perspective, YouTube is the new television. So, what does that mean now? That means if you start thinking about it in terms of this, like if that's the new television, you got a whole bunch of channels and content producers now that are creating content that actually needs audio and music as well. And you're actually, as a music producer, in a great position to be able to provide them with something that, one, is royalty free, two, that sounds excellent and fits their specific lane as a content producer. And there's thousands of content producers. And here's the difference. When you're selling to a content producer, it's different than selling to an artist, because you know what, artists, a lot of times they don't really invest too much in their craft. A lot of times they don't buy like equipment, and they don't understand how to make a return on investment a lot of times and whatnot. But a YouTube content creator actually is someone that's heavily invested in their channel. They're investing in things like their lighting, and they're investing in their cameras, and they're investing in other tools and techniques on how to make their videos better. So they're heavily invested in their craft. So that means they actually do have some disposable income because they take their craft seriously. So a lot of producers are not taking advantage of that opportunity to actually get their music to the new television. You know, we keep talking about the old methodologies of, you know, selling music to artists and selling music, or even licensing music to TV. But what about licensing music to content producers? You know, that's a great opportunity. There's thousands of them out there that are actually making a lot of money at that. If you look at content producers that are, you know, popping, basically, they have millions of views, some of them, on their channels. And, you know, millions of views actually equates to money. There's a direct correlation between the content they create and the money that they're bringing in. So, you know, a content producer is more likely to see value in your music if they understand how music can change what they're doing. And I think that's one of the things that I'm recommending music producers start thinking about, this whole video content producer lane as well. And I'm actually, right now, I'm working on a new platform for music producers so that you can get your music directly to video content producers. So I have a website that we're working on right now. It's actually a platform. It's called beatsforvloggers.com. So after this is over, I'm going to leave a link in the video description. If you're interested in, you know, getting your music directly to video bloggers, you know, people that are making video content, if you're interested in that, I'm going to leave a link in the video description for that as well, so that you can get access to that, because that's another lane that music producers are not taking advantage of, especially a lot of these guys out here, you know, a lot of you guys out here that are doing tight beats all the time. You know, this is a perfect lane, because realistically, a content producer, their content is going to go up in quality so greatly if they have excellent music that's backing them. And you got to think about it, like a video content producer, usually if they're on top of their stuff, they're doing content very frequently. So they're gonna need music quite a lot. And music is going to help to boost the whole professionalism of their video. So, because, you know, like a lot of video content producers, if they don't have video, they're not really competing with the mainstream media. Because mainstream media, if you watch television, if you watch anything on TV, there's always music. So video content producers are really the next lane. So like I said, if you're looking to get your music to video content producers, check the link in the video description, or you can head over to beatsforvloggers.com, and you can sign up to get more information about this opportunity, because I'm creating a platform to do this so that we can get the music producer community connected directly with the video content producer community, because I think it's an excellent opportunity, and it's a great way for music producers to sell their music without, number one, cheapening their brand, and number two, flooding the market with music that or music with artists that they don't care about. Because at the end of the day, you know, video content producer, they'll put your music in their video, and it might be seen by thousands, if not millions of people. And that's a big difference than you working with the artists that you may not, you know, the artist may not even have like a real structure, a real following that they can utilize with your music. So it's a great lane. So again, check that out on the video description. I'm gonna leave a link on the YouTube channel, and for you guys on IG, the site is Beats FOR vloggers.com. That's what that's how we moving, man. We trying to make it so that music producers can win, but we also want to uplift the culture at the same time. Because like I said, if you're just selling a gang of beats to artists that you don't care about, you're flooding the culture. You don't care about the culture, because realistically, music is something that people enjoy for their lives. It's a lifestyle thing. So if you're just putting out music just to sell to artists and sell the dream, and they can't make a return on investment, it's not a good look. But if you're really being strategic about it and thinking about either working with artists that you care about, or working with a different avenue that allows you to get your music on media, then you have a better chance of winning without cheapening your brand and without destroying the culture. Okay. The other thing is, for those of you that are interested in working with artists, the other thing is this: you should consider, if you're gonna work with artists, as far as your content strategy goes, if you want to work with artists online and sell music to them, you need to start looking at promoting yourself in the same way that a car insurance company promotes itself on television. Now, think about this. You know that when you watch a lot of, if you watch television and you see a car or a car insurance commercial, what happens is a lot of times they have a spokesperson. There's a figurehead. We all know the Gecko. We all know the Allstate dude. We all know Flo. We know the General. There's always a figurehead, but there's always this aspect of the company having your back. And if you're trying to work with artists, it should be about having the person's back. It's not about you just selling the beat to them. But if you make your content strategy about having the artist's back, then you're gonna win. Because at the end of the day, if you have their back, then they're gonna get value from you in more ways than just your beats. Okay, so think about a content strategy for working with artists that is based around you having their back, as opposed to you just having beats for them. So that's another thing I just want to mention. Have that in your mind. Think about how that can correlate to what you're doing as a music producer online, okay? Have the artist back. You're a music producer. We are the backbone of the whole music situation. Have their back. Don't sit up and just, chastise them, but find ways to have their back, so that we can continue to build great music and have a legacy of music that people actually care about. I'm gonna answer some questions now. That's what I want to talk about tonight. I'm gonna answer some questions for a bit before we get out. I'm probably gonna go to the gym after this, but again, if you haven't done so, check out my 6-part video course, Sound Mind Sessions. It's available on ultrawest.com. I'll leave a link in the video description for this on the YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on IG, you can go to my you can go to my bio after we're finished, and I'll have a link right there where you can go get access to it. So we're gonna check out the room, see what questions we have in here. My dude Fat Track, what's going on, man? If y'all don't know about Fat Track, man, look, Fat Track is one of the OGs from YouTube as well. Back in the day when some of y'all know about Booney Mayfield, I remember Fat Track and Booney Mayfield was like partnered up, and they was doing a lot of dope stuff, man. So Fat Track is in the room right now. I want to just give him respect, because he's one of the OG legends of the YouTube thing as well. So much respect to this dude. His question: does the media take publishing? Just wondering what the split is. When you say the media, are you saying like YouTube, or are you talking about like television? Because if you're talking about television, television doesn't take a split of your publishing, but if you're working with like a library, oh no, okay, right now it's a platform, so we're not taking publishing or anything like that. That's not what this is about. If you're talking about the platform we're developing, it's not about that. It's really about making the connection. it's giving you a platform so that you can make a direct connection to YouTube content producers and sell music directly to them, as opposed to trying to sell to artists and other entities that you may not even want to deal with at this point. So, it's about that. It's about making the connection. The discussion, by the way, we're talking about selling beats online. We're talking about how to sell beats online without cheapening your brand and diluting the culture. And, one of the things I talked about earlier was just about how you can, specifically go after artists from the perspective of actually having their back and caring about them, as opposed to just presenting them with, this whole self-promoting thing and, having beats and complaining that they don't want to buy beats. And also we talked about the how you can get your music on television. Good pricing for content producers. I think, it's going to depend on, what kind of packaging and what kind of value you're adding. But ultimately, I don't think that it's going to change too much in terms of the pricing as far as what's acceptable online. Because leasing a beat online, people are selling beats for like $20 right now, $25, which is not a lot of money. But if you've ever done music on television, like, sometimes you'll get a residual where one beat made $20 within a quarter because it was on like some show and this is the amount it did. So I think $20 is a reasonable amount, or $25, something like that. But I think it just depends on what you're really offering. But, music on television, it's a quantity game as well. So you're not always getting like $1,000 for one track. You may get like $10,000 for 100 different tracks that you have on television within a quarter. So it's a numbers game as well. It's not just about you setting one price and getting like, $2,000 for one track for them to use. Like, that's not going to work. That's not sustainable for television nor for a content creator. But I think there's a good pricing that already exists online for beat makers and producers, and I think the leasing game right now is probably around, it's tolerating around $20 to $25. Cool. Any other questions we got here? I'm gonna go to YouTube real quick and see what's popping here. Let's see here. YouTube. Somebody says true production is more than just beats. You got to mentor the artist and bring the best out of them, and that's the side you don't see. You'll always see cats making beats but not mentoring the artist. Yeah, I mean, that's really what the game is about, man. You got to be mentoring artists too. It's not just you selling a beat. Like I said before, a beat is hard for artists to get a return on investment from a beat. So if you're not thinking about the whole package of what production is and different ways that you can present that to an artist online, then your chances of really selling beats consistently is going to be like very small. And also, like, overall, artists are not dumb. Artists, we got to stop thinking artists are dumb. Artists, number one, know that there's software that they can use to make beats themselves. So do you pay a producer $25 a pop for beats that, they don't even have full rights to? Or do you save a little bit of your money, go to Guitar Center, buy the little cheapest software you can find to make beats and make beats yourself, or even download them? You know what I'm saying? Like, artists aren't dumb. I find a lot of times, a lot of the people that I have to mentor as far as creating music or teach how to make music come from an artist background. So they're artists that are learning how to make beats out of necessity because they don't necessarily want to pay for music because they won't make a return on investment a lot of times. So you got to be smarter than that. You got to understand that if you have other abilities and other if you have other things that you can offer artists that go outside of just the beats, then you need to present that in a way that adds value to them. And I think a lot of it comes down to your knowledge and your expertise as a music producer. And if you can find great ways to market your expertise and not just your sound, not just your beats, but your expertise, then that part is where the difference lies between you and the rest of the people out there. Because now your content strategy will change to just being about really helping the artist as a producer online, as an online entity. But then you have a place where they can also buy or get access to your music. So that's, the way that I'm thinking, producers could really improve what they're doing, and also just make a lot more movement in this community. Because I know, like, you want to sell beats. Everybody wants to make money off their stuff. I'm not, like I said, it's not about you not selling beats. It's about you thinking smart about who you're trying to serve, and make sure you serve them and not just be in contention with them. Because what other business has a content strategy of demeaning their customer for not wanting or not being ready to purchase something? That no other industry does that, but I see a lot of producers out here do that online a lot of times. And it's like, you don't have to take jabs at artists. They're smarter than you think. Even if they smoke weed and drink and party, they're smarter than you think. And you got to understand that artists are important for us as producers as well. It's not just, hey, without us, you don't have anything. It's like, yes, that's true. Without the music, they don't have anything. But at the same time, if you're not willing to become an artist yourself, if you're not willing to say, I don't need to work with artists, and I'm just going to work on my album, and I'm going to put it out, release it, and I'm going to perform the music myself, and, I'm going to be the artist, then you can say that. Then you can stand on your own and say, I don't need to deal with that. But if you're not, then you got to understand that the artist plays a crucial role in the situation, and you got to understand how to work with artists and respect who they are as people, because they're different than us. A lot of times music producers are a different breed of people than artists. So because they're a different breed of people, we got to respect the differences. And we often have to play a very mature role, because with developing artists, you have to be able to understand how to deal with these people that are artists psychologically as well, because they have a different emotional attachment to the music and how they operate in life. So they can be a little bit more free in some cases than you as a music producer can be. So I think if you can understand the psychological aspect of it and really dig into the people that you're serving as a music producer, then you'll have a great chance of winning. But if you focus just on yourself and what you think's supposed to happen, but you don't care about the artist and you just want them to pay you, then you're not going to win overall. Okay, Raymar, what's going on, Raymar? I'm in the YouTube right now. Somebody says, Jay, what do you think about guys selling beats on SoundClick? It's cool. I mean, selling beats on SoundClick is okay. Whatever platform you use, I don't care about the platform you use. I care about how you deal with your customer. That's what I care about. So the platform is cool. It's just, how are you dealing with these people? Are you just transactional and you're just saying, hey, here's a Drake type beat or Future type beat, and then they get it and they can't make a return on investment because, what artist needs to sound like another artist right now? That's the reality of it. If you're selling type beats to artists, I think that music producers should probably stop selling type beats to other artists, because you're not putting them in a position necessarily to win. If you're selling type beats to artists, like, what artist needs a Drake type beat really if they're not Drake? Think about that. What artist needs a Future type beat if they are not Future? They actually need beats that prepare them to have their message, tell their story, and win. So I think the platform is not the issue. It's about the methodology and how we treat the artists and how we deal with the artists. So if you're focused on only selling type beats to artists, you're kind of just selling them a dream. And you got to think about it. They don't need that. They actually need something that they can make a return on investment. Seabrister Music in the YouTube chat room says, how are some ways I can grow my craft? I've been on the long road of learning to play piano. the thing is, you want to get mentorship. That's one way to do it, is get mentorship. Seek mentorship, because you are really the product of the people that you surround yourself with. So if you don't surround yourself with people that are better than you, then you're not going to get better. When I was coming up, I actually had the opportunity to work with people that were better than me on production. One of them might be in here, my homie Crass Bangers. That was one of the first dudes that I worked with when I was in college as a music producer. So he saw me when I first started, and he was dope, way doper than me on the keyboards, way doper than me on production. But he worked with me, and I learned from him. And another artist that I worked with, Kalin, he was a music producer and artist. Dope at making beats, way doper than me at the time, and I learned from him, and we would collaborate a lot. And just being in the midst of people that are better than you will step up your game tremendously. It'll step up your game more than YouTube or anything else will, really. Like, it's great to get techniques and ideas from YouTube, but really, you got to get both. Right now, YouTube is great because it has so much content, but at the same time, you also got to get out and surround yourself with people that are doing stuff better than you. If you want to be a better musician, surround yourself with musicians that are better than you. If you want to be a better producer, surround yourself with producers that are better than you and pick up the game from them. Be a student and try to add value to them, and you'll grow and you'll learn how to do things that you wouldn't be able to do, or actually you'll be able to accelerate stuff, because you can figure out stuff on your own, but just the acceleration that you get from being around people that are better is invaluable. And that's one of the things that I definitely recommend, is just making sure that you surround yourself with people that know the craft and can do more than you, because that's how you learn. Let's see. Al423030 says, what's the best way to learn how to use Machine Studio? Okay, so what I suggest is, first of all, you take simple steps by just, first of all, learning how to load your samples in. Learn how to put your samples in the machine. Learn how to record a sample, learn how to record audio into it, learn how to edit and truncate audio, learn how to create patterns, like do simple patterns. Don't try to do too much. Start with simple tasks, and then once you understand how to do really simple tasks, start putting a couple of things together. Start working on a full beat or project within just Machine. I always recommend people use the Machine as standalone first before they start going into like integrating it with the DAWs and using it with all this other stuff. Just learn how to use it standalone first, and then you can start growing. Now, like if you want like specific help on tasks, I'm definitely by far very well versed in Machine, so hit me up on my website. I do one-on-one consultations. If you want to do like a FaceTime or video consultation about how to use Machine, definitely hit me up. Like I can show you the ropes on that and get you started. But definitely start with smaller tasks first. Learn how to like do basic things. Cut audio in there, record audio in there, load your samples up, make simple patterns. You know what I'm saying? Just start simple first and then expand. Somebody says, this is Jordan B. Jordan B. Chicago. How would you suggest a new producer market himself without overwhelming the social media platforms? How should you market yourself? I talked about this earlier, having a content strategy. If you're really a producer, content strategy is about showing your expertise in your field. So if you're trying to market to artists, if you're trying to get to artists, then become a resource for the artists that they can learn from and get information from and actually grow as artists. Figure out ways to influence artists with your expertise as a music producer. Now, if you don't have expertise right now, it's about working on your craft and getting your craft together so that you actually have something that's marketable. But once you understand who you are as an artist and who you are as a producer, you have the ability to express your expertise to that community directly without having to like interfere or overwhelm social media. Because you shouldn't overwhelm social media. You should be adding value to social media. Like, social media is so important at this point, but you want to be valuable here. You don't want to just be self-promoting. So I don't recommend producers get on and say, hey, beats, I got beats, buy beats. No. Think about how you can add value, and then if you have a value-centric content strategy, then yes, you'll win with whatever audience you're trying to get to. Somebody says, this is Trey. I don't know. Is it Trey Chill? I never asked you. I should have asked you how I say it, but I think it's Trey Chill. As a producer, should I post beats every day? It's up to you. I think, consistent content is actually important as a music producer online. Like, consistency in general is important, but you also need to have a strategy with that. So if it's just content for the sake of content, like, here's some more free content or here's some more free beats, like, that's cool, but that might be spinning your wheels. Because, like, why are you posting beats every day? Is it because they're for sale, or is it because you have some other intention, or are you just trying to get feedback? I don't know, but I think that you should think about what your strategy is behind that, and if your strategy calls for you having content every day, then it makes sense. For example, if you have a beat site right now yourself where you're giving people access to a certain amount of beats per month for a subscription or whatever, then yeah, maybe you need to post beats every day because people are paying for a subscription, so they're waiting for you to post content. But if you don't have something like that, then maybe you don't need to post every day. I think it's about the quality of your content, first of all, like making sure that the quality is great every time you post, is consistent, and also just making sure that there's a purpose behind it. Don't just post just for the sake of attention, but post so that you get the right attention, because the right attention is important. It's not just getting attention, because if all that attention is about how bad or whack the music that you're putting up is, then it's not helpful for you, right? So it's about really understanding why you're posting music and having a purpose behind it as well. But yeah, I mean, there are some cases where you could potentially post music every day. Going to the YouTube real quick. We got a few more minutes of this, but I want to take some more questions before we get off. But hopefully you got a lot of value out this already. If you haven't already done so, like I said before, go ahead and check out my free 6-part video course for music producers on my website. There's a link in the video description. Sound Mind Sessions, you can check that out on the link in the video description. Or if you're watching this on IG, you can check the link in my bio and you can get access to that. And also, for you music producers out there that are interested in this whole getting your beats to video content producers, check out the link that I have in the description. It's beatsforvloggers.com. There's going to be a link in the video description, and if you're on IG right now, it's Beats for Vloggers. I'll try to put a link in on my website as well so that you can get direct access to that if you're interested in that, all right? So I'm going to take some more questions, go to the YouTube channel real quick, and then let's see what's going on. ADD. Oh, that's a cool name. He's saying, I'm currently looking to work with new artists. Should I give out a couple free beats here and there? I think anytime that you can foster a relationship that gives you an opportunity to show your value is a great thing. So free can be a great way to attract people. It's a great way to get people to have a low investment into the music, but still maybe work with you. But I think you have to be careful with free. If you're going to give free, I would say, for me personally, there's strategies to that. If you want to give free, if it's about you generating leads and whatnot, you can do that. But if you're trying to work with artists directly, then you may want to just start working with the artist and maybe think about ways you can monetize outside of just selling the beat as well. Sometimes it's better for you to find artists that you can work with and just build with and not just worry about selling beats. So, and Zaytoven, if you guys are familiar with him, he talks about this too. Like, some artists you just got to work with off the strength of like making great music, and invest in artists and push artists that you believe can actually do something, because that can take you a lot further. And Zaytoven is good as a good example of that, because some of the artists he invested in are very popular at this point. You got people like Gucci Mane, and you got people like the Migos and whatnot. These are popular artists that Zaytoven invested in, and it wasn't just about the transaction. It was about making music. So it's a good strategy to work with artists and have pet projects and things like that. But if you're talking about online, if your idea is, giving out free beats just for online, you got to have a real strategy and a structure behind that. So there is a strategy to free, but it's really free for like lead generation more so. It's not just free just for the sake of free. So make sure you have a structure and a strategy behind your free content, so that way you get value out of it as well. And it's not just some transaction where somebody gets a free beat and takes it and does whatever they want. Because like I said before, it's not about that. It's not just about getting your beats out there and letting artists do whatever they want. It's about, as a music producer, it's about you actually guiding them and helping them to get the most out of the music, so that they can get a return on the investment and actually do something with the music that benefits both of you. So that's a great question, but yeah, that's what it is. That's my perspective on it. Somebody's asking here, what's the role of the executive producer? I mean, that can depend. That's a widely it's a widely varying term. For some, it has to do with their financial input on a project. Sometimes it has to do with their strategic input on a project. It really varies, but a lot of times it has a lot of context of financial involvement as well as strategy. So, they can do a lot of different things. And, I don't necessarily have enough time to get into all of what a executive producer could be responsible for. But ultimately, he kind of goes outside of the bounds of just the whole song creation, because the music producer is in charge of delivering the song to whatever the application is. But at the same time, if you have an executive producer, a lot of times their role is going to be more strategic or more financial, and they're going to go ahead and make other moves that the music producer may not necessarily make on the business side. They're usually a business entity in the whole album creation. Shell Tops 7 says, hey man, missed most of it. UK London here, but I'll be getting involved. Great info. Thanks, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you dropping in all the way from the UK. That's dope. I love to see people all over the world engaging with this community, because at the end of the day, it is a global community. We're online. We have access to so many different people, and so many lives can be changed by what we do on the internet. So I love being able to be a part of this whole community and try to add value as well. That's the whole thing. It's about everybody building up each other, and we all got to win, man. It's not just about every man for himself. This is a community. So I appreciate you stopping by and checking me out, man. Peace, Renegade. Peace from Canada. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man, for sure. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for supporting, man. I appreciate it. Let me see. We got a few more minutes left. If anybody got any more questions, I might be able to take one more question. I got like 1 minute left, actually, so maybe not. I think we're going to wrap it up. But again, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all joining me. I appreciate y'all giving me the feedback and, having a discussion with me. If you haven't done so by now, go ahead and check out Sound Mind Sessions on my website. There's a link in the video description. It's a free 6-part video course for music producers that teaches them about music production, some sound design topics, as well as just music industry topics. It's very helpful, and it's free, man. So like, if you have a problem with free, I don't know what to tell you. Go get it. Make sure you sign up. There's a link in the video description for that. Also, we have the new platform that I'm working on. It's beatsforvloggers.com. So if you're interested in that opportunity, go to that site now. leave some information there so that we can get you in the loop so that you can be a part of this community and this platform, because I think it's going to be a major thing for music producers, and it's going to be a major thing for music in general, because we're trying to make sure that we don't dilute the culture with stuff that we don't care about, but we're focusing on things that we care about and things that matter. And if you're trying to make a living off your music, selling beats is important too. So this whole platform, Beats for Vloggers, is a thing I'm pushing because I want to make sure that music producers have an opportunity to make a living off of their music, and also music producers have a culture that's left so that they don't have to find other ways to make their money while still trying to do music while moonlighting. You know, we got opportunity here. The internet is global. There's a lot of opportunity with things like YouTube and video content producers, and I think we can take advantage of this, and I have a great platform and some great concepts of how to do it. So make sure you sign up for that. There's a link in the video description, and also there will be a link on my website coming up soon, so you'll check that out. And in the meantime, I just want to tell you guys, peace. God bless y'all. We're doing this again every Sunday at 9, unless I otherwise state. Every Sunday at 9 p.m. Pacific time, we're doing this live on YouTube and IG. So let's get it in, y'all. Thank you so much, y'all. Peace.